G'day YouTube, welcome back. This is week 37 of our weekly workshop walkthrough videos. You didn't think we'd skip out on one, did you? Not a bloody chance. We've had another massive week here at Barji Marine HQ. We've got a ton of content to get through, plus some exciting news. Well, let's start with the news. For those of you that haven't been following us on social media, we made an announcement during the week that we have taken on another business. We've merged with a business called Gorm Fishing Marine. Shane Curl, the owner of that business, will be coming to work for us here at Barji Marine HQ, which is super exciting for us. Shane brings an amazing skill set. Not only is he one of the best marine mechanics going around, he's also an amazing fabricator, in particularly with aluminium. So super stoked to be able to be bringing that capability directly into our business. Shane, for those of you that don't know, has been doing our mechanical servicing and aluminium fabrication, predominantly all our motor mounts, for all your trolling motor mounts on the front of boats for a number of years now. So it's so good to be able to bring that in-house. We've also taken on our second shed. So it's a shed adjoining the workshop that we're in at the moment. So come mid, we're going to have full mechanical and fabrication service here on offer in the new shed. So super stoked. It's another big milestone for us at Barji Marine. And again, none of that would be possible without support from our customers. So thank you once again for your support over the last few years as our business continues to grow and prosper. And with all that, we obviously can start adding more capability like we have now. So we are pretty much now your one-stop shop for all your marines related work. All right, let's get cracking on the boats we're going to be looking at in this week's video. Starting off with a Quintrex 510 top ender side console. That's come in for a full Garmin upgrade. So we've pulled out the Lowrance HDS, we've added a couple of GPS map screens and Livescope, and a dual battery system. The Zodiac rigid inflatable boat, it's complete. We've done a nice wiring tidy up down in the aft area. We've put a nice pair of speakers and a custom backlit switch panel and done a makeover inside the helm. It's come up absolutely awesome. We've been able to completely organise and declutter behind the helm, which has given the glove box area a whole new lease on life. You can actually use it now as a glove box, so we'll go and check that one out. The 575 Cruisecraft Outsider, another huge week on that. Lots of progress, which is awesome. So let's get in that and we'll be checking out. All the switch panels are in. Most of the wiring down the aft section is done, so batteries are terminated, DC-DC chargers are all wired up. Things are really starting to take shape and come together now on the 575 Outsider. One of the most well-known Northbanks boat is a 750 hardtop Northbank called Hectic. Now, if you've been on my website, you've been on our YouTube, you'll see we did a review on this boat a number of years ago. It's got tens of thousands of views. It would be one of the most spec'd up 750 hardtop Northbanks in the country. In fact, I still don't think there'd be anything that comes close to it. And if you didn't think we could fit any more on that boat, well, you would be wrong. It's in this week, and we've done Seakeeper Ride retrofit on it. So pulled the old style, old school trim tabs off, and we've got the 450 Seakeeper Ride system on. Nearly finished, so we'll jump in that boat and we'll have a good look over that as well. The beautiful Key West, it's back from the shipwrights. The boys have done an amazing job fiberglassing up where the old trim tab Lenco system used to be. It had tiny little pockets underneath the hull which we needed to fill to give us a nice flat even surface for the Seakeeper Ride system. So that's done, it's back. We've done all the preparation for the Seakeeper Ride install on the transom. The boys have also done some nice strengthening and strong backing on the dashboard cutouts. We cut so much material out, and there's actually a lot cut out to start off with that we had virtually no strength left. So the guys have come through and put some nice strong backing in there, so we'll go and check that out as well. Can't forget tool time. Stay tuned and see which tool we're reviewing from the workshop this week as well. We'll be checking out another product from the Barji Marine portfolio, something here that we manufacture in-house, so stay tuned for that as well. All right guys, well, if any of that interests you, feel free to stay tuned and check it out. I'll put a timestamp down in the bottom of the video. So if you want to skip to a boat that interests you more than the others, feel free to just fast forward straight through to that video. All right, kicking it off, 510 top ender side console. This is a Quintrex. This is in for the full Garmin refit. Let's jump in, check out what we've been up to. Down here on the transom, we've installed a new transducer. This is the Garmin GT56 UHD transom mount transducer. Alright, we'll start off inside the boat here with the dual battery system that we've just added to it. Here you can see we've got a Blue Seas battery isolator with an ACR relay and a bunch of waterproof fuse holders there and a negative bus bar stud. My preference is to use these isolators whenever we're not doing something with a remote style battery isolator like the Aegis that you'd see us using a lot. And the reason for that is just the ease of use. So for the average customer, they can very easily just operate this switch without needing to think about, you know, do I need to put my battery on battery 1, battery 2, both, how it works. So with this style of switch, you've got two positions, you've got off, or three positions technically, off, on, and emergency parallel, or combine as they call it here. And it's just as simple as this. When you want to use your boat, you just got to go from off to on, and that brings both your batteries on. Now they're both powered up, and if in the event you had one flat battery, either your start battery went flat, say for instance, to go to emergency parallel, it's just another movement into that position, and now your batteries are actually combined. So not needing to worry about battery 1 or battery 2 or anything along those lines. This makes life so much simpler. You just leave it in the on position. The charge relay here, this is called a ACR relay. It detects voltages up at a high enough level, so it's actually favouring the start battery in this situation, so that once the start battery's got adequate amount of charge in it, it joins the two batteries together and starts charging the house battery as well. And then similarly, if you turned your outboard off and you had your electronics running, the ACR will detect when the voltage gets too low. It'll split the two batteries apart so that your start battery will never go flat. It'll only discharge your house battery. So yeah, very great. It's a great system. It's very simple, easy for your customers to figure out and not have to stress about which battery you need to put your battery isolator on. Under the floor here, we've installed a second battery. When it came in, it had only a single battery. That battery was doing both starting the outboard and running the electronics on the boat. Naturally, with the upgrade we're doing with a couple of Garmin screens and a Livescope system, it would make sense to add some extra capacity, so that's exactly what we've done. Here you can see we've installed a pair of dry power AGM dual purpose batteries. They're both deep cycling and cranking batteries. They're mounted in on our custom Barji Marine battery block system. You can see here, corner blocks are in, straps are on, in nice and securely, and also all labelled as well, so we can see which battery is connected to what side of that battery isolator that I was just showing you earlier. But yeah, neat as a pin. Nice, simple installation. Come up an absolute treat in there. At the helm, this is the Garmin 8412 in the dash. See, still waiting to do the configuration for it. First time fired up. That's nicely flush mounted in this carbon looking dash panel that boat came with. So yeah, nice and neat. We've got a little switch panel here for Livescope to turn it on and off with. A little blue backlight in the switch. And then under here we've got the Livescope module, the GLS10, and then we've installed a Blue Seas fuse panel there as well for all the new Garmin accessories. So avoiding this, let's call it mess of wiring, and coming in with our own power supply and all our own cabling, so that we know the work and the accessories we're adding to the boat are wired in correctly and should work faultlessly. Stepping up on the cast platform, there we've got a Garmin 1653, that's a GPS map 1653 screen installed on a Transducer Poles Australia medium size sounder stand. Built like a brick shithouse, these things, super strong. I've been able to pick up some aluminium underneath the cast deck here as well, so we've got bolts straight through steel structure, not just relying on the floor here to take the weight. That's the handle that the sound to screen stands come with. It's an anodized handle, enables us to be able to really just crank up the tension on this sounder stand, stop it slipping down. I love these big aggressive teeth in here. It just gives such a positive feel and lock on it. By undoing this, you can slide the whole thing out and just be left with the low profile plate there. It's also a really good feature of these sounder stands. And we've got the cabling run through some Kevlar sleeve up into the back of the screen, which we'll be installing some Protect caps to shortly. And then on the other side here, we've got the transducer pole. This is connected to the LVS 34, the Livescope transducer. You can see down the bottom there. This is the CV pole, the customer value pole. Still probably one of the more economical poles in the range of transducer poles in Australia, but it's a very effective pole. You can still lock this up, change and adjust the depth of it. This is sitting on a D-ball medium ram extension, and then a Transducer Poles Australia quick release plate as well. So same sort of scenario here. By undoing this little bolt, eye bolt is the word I'm looking for, we can slide this whole assembly out and just leave that plate behind, which is exactly the same as what's going on here with the sounder stand. It's a great little way to get on the water and get out there scoping. Alright, so all we've got left to do here on the Quintrex is install this. This is the Transducer Poles Australia power point. It enables us to install the Livescope transducer in a spot that's easier to access than trying to find somewhere obscure like where we've got it, the GLS-10, the sonar module. So without some sort of remote plug, and there are a couple of other brands on the market as well that make something very similar. This just makes it super convenient. So we can go and install it somewhere like over here, where then you can just grab your Livescope cable, this guy here, if you had your power point plug there, and then you can just simply plug your transducer straight in to the power point rather than having to dig through and try and find or correctly locate the transducer plug. Because if you have a look at this, you'll see there are lots of pins to try and align, and it's very easy to misalign that and bend a pin, and then you've got big problems. So yeah, any form of remote plug such as these power points are well worth the investment, and that way you can also easily just disconnect it, take the whole Livescope pole and transducer off the boat. So yeah, check them out if you're in the market for them. Zodiac, the tender to a much larger boat. It's had a birthday. Done a nice tidy up of all the wiring. You can see in here, it's all been run nice and neatly, all tied up properly. Battery remounted, which I showed you last week. And then we've tidied up the battery isolation there and the bus bar for all the negatives. So there's all the new negative bus bar we've installed. Again, all heat shrink labels. A couple of new fuse holders there as well. Just tidies things up, makes it more reliable for the owner. At the helm, got a pair of Fusion 6.5-inch XS speakers installed. Nice fit, they just fit, but I think they look pretty trick. Got a Fusion ERX remote head unit up here that's gone in, and again, literally just fits. Boys have done a good job to get that in. We've made a nice new matte black panel here on the dash, and we've polished out the edges as well, and then installed a brand new switch panel. This is a backlit switch panel, all made in-house here at Barji Marine. Let's have a look inside the glove box. All right, the glove box before arrival was just full of wiring, absolute bird's nest. Had a crappy fuse holder in there as well, but now you can see it's all been decluttered. Tons and tons of room in there now to actually store stuff, which who doesn't want more storage in their boats? And there's a new 12-way fuse panel that we've installed. Again, everything's labelled, every earth, every positive wires are labelled, And of course the fuse cover's labelled as well, so should you blow a fuse, it's very quick and easy and pain-free to go and find which fuse belongs where and replace it. That's the end of the Zodiac. Nice little tidy up, stereo upgrade. Gonna add years and years of trouble-free boating to the owner of this Schmick little rib. So the 575 Cruisecraft Outsider, huge week on it this week. Plenty of progress. Let's climb aboard and check it out. Starting down the transom, so all the battery cabling is now being terminated off. We still need to do the control wiring there for the Aegis remote battery switches. That's a wiring harness here that'll be run between the front and the back of the boat. So this is all your bilge pump wiring, control wiring for the Aegis switches, underwater lights, anything else that's down the transom. Switch panel that still needs to be rigged up. There's the rest of the harness hanging over the ladder there. And then in the bilge. All right, so again, all the heavy current cabling is done. There's our earth bus bar all wired up, all labeled. So every single cable has a label on it. So that just helps us identify, fault find, diagnose in the years to come. Should there that need ever arise, hopefully not. You can see some more termination there on a positive stud. A lot of cabling running down the back here. We've just left this open, the battery out for the time being, because we still need to get into the back of into this back area under here. So not going to get too far involved there. Showed you the bilge last week. That's all done. And then here's the DC charger. Trying to get some lighting in there for you. So the fuses are wired up. The input and the output fuse for the Orion 121250 waterproof DC charger. That guy's charging there. VoltGo battery here. You can see some more earth terminations here. Again, all on the big heavy duty 300 amp earth bus. And the other side of the DC charger in there, it's all getting very tight and pokey. You can also see some wiring running underneath. Actually, a lot of wiring. It is insane how much is going in to this 5.7 meter boat. So we've got all the battery cables lugged off as well, and as you can see, all labeled on this side as well. So it's a very time consuming, painstaking project, but once it's done like this, it's done for life. It's the rear switch panel. It's just sitting here waiting to go at the moment. And there's the tails that all need to be connected, and that'll all be connected to this wiring harness once it's run, which is one of the first jobs that we'll be on to in the new week. So we're in on the starboard side here, behind the side panel. Here you can see the back of one of the, I think we've got 5 in total switch panels in this boat. Crazy amount of switch paneling. There you can see it mounted on that side panel. So just physically running out of room. The only other way you could avoid this, having so many actual push button switches, would be to digitally switch it. But this customer's preference is to stay with the mechanical style latch switch. So here we are. All the NMEA 2000 networking has been run. It all needs to be labelled. You can see all the blue tape there. That's just telling the electrician which cable is going where. All the Ethernet side is done as well. We had to install NEP2. That's a network expansion port module in this boat because of how many Ethernet ports we had. We've got the 3D structure scan. It's also got Ethernet connections going into it. The anchor winch cabling is all done there. You can see it's wired up as well. So yeah, good amount of progress in here. Still a little bit of sorting out to go, but it's starting to look like something that will make boat noises very soon. The other side panel for the port side we've got off as well. Makes it so much easier to access and mount things in there. We've got another Marinco power point plug going in there. That's what they look like when they're wired up. Male, female receptacle. That guy there will sit inside that cavity so he can run his pie warmer, fridge, whatever he wants off that basically. And then over here we've got some more Victron gear. These are 25 amp battery chargers. These are the IP67, these are the waterproof Victron chargers. They've all got inline MIDI fuses on the output side as well. Like these, they're built very, very well, and good amount of amperage on the charging side, 25 amps. Make sure that lithium battery gets a good hit. Yeah, and then we've also got a charger here for the AGM start, so a pair of chargers. And then this one there is a Orion DC-DC voltage converter, and we use that for the Starlink. So this boat's got Starlink up on the bimini. You would have seen that in last week's video. I like to run my Starlinks on more than 12 volts. and this allows us to get right up to almost 30 volts when it's wound up, so we know we're never going to get dropouts or power issues as the battery starts to discharge. Given that Starlink is a form of communication and can be used as a safety tool, I don't take any chances. Over at the helm now, and you can see the dash layout is starting to come together. Got all our nice laser cut black acrylic panels in there. Got the Evo 3 7-inch in here. We've got the Mercury vessel view gauge. We've got the Simrad VHF radio. We've got a custom backlit switch panel in here. Predominantly this is a lighting switch panel, and then another one for pumps below it. So we've got this one, that one over here, one down the back in the transom. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4 switch panels. Oh, we've got the JL Audio Media Master 55 in there as well. A pair of 12-inch Simrads here. So you can see this boat has a ton of electronics in it. It's just an incredible amount. This is the circuit breaker for the new Lone Star drum winch, and then this is a switch there for the anchor. So I mean, managed to make all this fit, but I'll tell you what a job to do that. Boys are doing well. We're getting closer. Just climbed inside the cabin. Show you a little bit in here as well. You can see that's our shore power inlet. That's where the customer will be able to plug his extension lead in and turn his battery chargers on. Here you can see some cabling running through. This has got predominantly network cabling and some power cables as well, all nice and neatly run. Obviously a lot of work still to do in behind here. Fuse panel still needs to be mounted off. All these tails need to still be terminated. So yeah, but that will be a project for the new week. Once that starts, we'll be getting much closer to completion on the 575 cruise craft. And check this out, guys. This is the one and only 750 hardtop Northbank Hectic, and hectic by name and by nature. There is absolutely nothing this boat hasn't got fitted to it. Absolute weapon. We were a big part of the original fit out on this boat, consulting to the owner. This is the owner's second 750 hardtop. This one's got the beautiful white Mercury outboards on it, but anyhow, this is what it's in for. Just when you thought we couldn't fit any more to this boat, here is Seakeeper Ride, all beautifully fitted off to the transom. We've got some Macros underwater lights fitted here as well. We removed some old round underwater lights, which you can see just the outline of those where they used to be. Unfortunately, we're going to get in the way. So we've gone and opted for these, which has covered a hole or two from the old underwater lights. It's left one remaining. We're going to deal with that before it goes. And we're also making some custom 3D printed bland covers to go where the cable's going through the transom, and they will pick up the same holes from the old electro tabs, trim tab rams. See if I can find one, I'll show you. There it is. That is a custom designed, manufactured, 3D printed gland cover, and that you'll see will go over here. It'll pick up the original holes, nicely cover where the old electrode tab rams went through. And doing this prevents extra shipwright work basically. Normally you'd need to go in and get these filled. The difficulty with this boat in particular is that it's actually 2-pack. It's sprayed, it's painted, this boat. That's not a gel coat surface, so that adds a whole nother level of complexity. So look at that, that's what it'll look like once it's all fitted off. We'll get some footage of that once it's finished, and that's that. Alright, so climbing aboard the big Northbank. If you've never seen one of these 750s are enormous. The amount of deck space in these is crazy, crazy good. Have a look at the fit out on this one. Enough Garmin screens, 1, 2, 3. Oh, don't forget about the one down in the transom here, number 4. You gotta love it. I definitely do. Anyhow, to do this Seakeeper Ride install, we've had to go in and remove a couple of the batteries out of the bilge area here. You can see them out. We do that because we need access into the transom there so we can run our cables. You can see in there we've got cable tie saddles all glued in and loosely fit off. Just got to finish the fit out of those tomorrow, and then be able to put the rear seat back in and get this boat delivered. There's one other job we've done while we're here, so let's go up and have a look. At the helm, there's the Seakeeper Ride keypad. That nicely replaces the old electro tab controller that was there. This gives the skipper some manual control of the Seakeeper Ride if they needed it, which is very, very uncommon. But if they did, you can do it from a keypad rather than needing to go and touch your screen. Again, no shortage of those in this one if you needed to though. Look at that. Isn't that a nice switch panel? I don't say so myself. All right, the last job it was in for was removal of this near new GSD 26 Black Bucks Garmin sonar module in favour for the new GSD 28. Sorry about the lighting, it's very dark in this cabin. I've got batteries disconnected so I can't turn the interior lighting. But now we're going to have the added bonus of heave and pitch compensation on the owner's 1 kilowatt transducers. This boat's got a high, wide and a low and a GT51. But this is only going to be this module is only taking care of the 1 kilowatt transducers. And also, of course, we can't forget about Garmin's new rapid return technology, which you'll also get having the GSD 28. All right, the Seakeeper Ride install is finished on the big Northbank. There you can see the Macros underwater lights fit nicely on top of the ride system. There's our custom made 3D printed gland cover going through the transom. And that's been made to adapt to the Electro trim tab rams. And there's one there. This one was pretty tricky because it's cut into the bottom of the step. And there's the Macros underwater light. It's come up great. The big, beautiful Key West. It's back from the shipwrights. It's had some mods done to the transom. I'll show you here. You can see we've got the Seakeeper Rides prepped there, masked up and sanded, both sides. But the guys at AHS Yachts have infilled this section. You can see that's all white. It's solid now. This used to run right back almost to that chine there, the planing strake rather, and that's where the Lencos used to be rebaited into the hull. So that's been fully fiberglassed and re-gel coated to give us a nice flat running surface. And then here you can see, well, you can actually see where the infill was. You can see the different material. So that's got solid fiberglass through here, and then this is the original fiberglass there when the boat was built. So we come in, we sand all this back, and then use the methacrylate epoxy to glue the Seakeeper Ride system. And this is the 450 system that's going on here. We'll use our custom Lenco cover plates to go over these holes, so we don't have to worry about filling those. Yeah, so we've got a set of underwater lights to go on here. See the other side there as well. We've done the same thing with the Seakeeper Ride, all sanded out, ready to go. Let's climb aboard and have a look what we've done at the dash. All right, here we are at the helm. As you can see, there is not a lot of original fiberglass left. Once we cut out the holes for the new Garmin 16-inch 16.53 GPS map screens, or the VHF, or the Yamaha CL5, or the switch panel that'll be going in here. Basically, nothing left. So, the guys at AHS have gone in and glassed in and strong backed behind the dash here to give us some rigidity and some support, which is lovely. So much better. See here, this gap is filled now where there used to be nothing. So we've got a big acrylic dash panel that's going to go over this with a custom backlit switch panel in it all through here, and that will look like an absolute work of art once we get all that together, which hopefully in the coming week we'll be able to get some more progress back on the Key West. We also had all the floor pro-lined, so it's been all measured. So we're doing foam U-deck flooring in here all throughout. It's something else we can offer our customers whilst we're doing some refit work on your boat, is nice U-deck, some premium U-deck flooring. Stand by for that. This is going to look absolutely amazing once she's fully kitted out with all the U-deck on the floor. Okay, it is tool time. All right, so for this week's tool review, it was something that I did put off for far too long buying. I've had some cheaper versions of it, and we're always borrowing one of the boys' cheaper eBay tool, which did the job, not saying it didn't do the job. And I had used these things in my former mechanical career as well. They were extremely handy there, but never did I think we'd have so much use for a bore scope. What's a bore scope, I hear you ask? Well, it's a little camera, little fiber optic camera on the end of this long fiber optic cable. It's a rigid cable, and basically you can just manipulate it to whichever angle you want. Some are driven. There's some you can do all sorts of weird and wonderful things with, but there you go. It's got a camera on this end. So we basically use this and put it into places where we just can't normally see. So that could be in the bilge, could be in a conduit when we're trying to pull cables through something like a center console. Any of those obscure areas where you just can't see and you're trying to work out why a cable's getting stuck. Can something fit? Can we actually put a transducer there? The amount of times I've had to stick this down into a little porthole, a hatch, or even a bung and look around inside the boat, look at the stringer system and have a really good look around before we start committing to, you know, drilling a hole for a transducer or for a through hole pickup or anything like that. Again, I will mention, guys, we are not sponsored. So Milwaukee, we did not get given this. There's no deal going here, although Milwaukee, if you are watching and you've got something you'd like us to try in the workshop, hey, I'm all ears. But no, we bought this with our own money. It's been well worth the investment. Uses the M12 lithium battery pack, so it suits our die grinder as well, which we use quite a bit. But yeah, if you are in the trade, the industry, or anywhere where you need to try and inspect into areas where you physically can't see, bore scope, guys, it's worth every single cent. This is the case the bore scope comes in. Nice little carry handle. Keeps it nice, safe and secure. It's got a position here for a lock on it if you wanted to lock it. Sits in here, all nice and secure, cable wrapped up here and a spot for the battery. Well worth the investment. This week's Barji product review is our rod holder drains. With these rod holder drains, well, it's quite obvious. Put this underneath the rod holder. We usually apply a little bit of Sikaflex or silicone here just to hold them up. We've got little grooves printed into them, so if you've got a gimbal pin, so that pin that goes across the bottom of your rod holder, sometimes they protrude outside, so that allows you to align it and go straight up and over it. And then on the bottom here, you've got a barb there for a piece of hose that you can just push over, hose clamp or cable tie, and that way, when water's running down your rod holders, which it does, because most of them don't have caps on them, or if they did, the caps are gone, water runs down, and quite often what's underneath your rod holders is electrical devices. So it could be battery isolators, batteries even, deck wash pumps, anything like that. And they're just getting drowned in salt water. So for a very cheap and cost-effective solution, that's our 3D printed rod holder drain, available online. I'll put a link below so you can find them on our website if that interests you. Barji Marine, rod holder drains, check them out. All right, guys, that is it. Another weekly workshop walkthrough video done and dusted. Week 37, it is over. Bring on week 38. I really hope you have enjoyed tuning in. You're enjoying following the progress on all these amazing boats and fit outs that we've got going on here in the workshop at the moment. We've got a ton of amazing work coming up as well. We've got some of the coolest projects. Just to note a couple, we've got 3 gyro installs to get done before Christmas, so it's wild. So the book is totally full, guys. Taking bookings rather, for January 2026 at the moment, which, oh man, I'm just shocked at this early to be in that situation. But again, couldn't be doing that without you. So thank you so much for your support. To my team, another massive effort. We are under the pump. There's no doubt about it. You guys are doing absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Plenty coming up with the merger of the 2 businesses. We've got the second shed to do a fit out on and get up and rolling. What else have we got going on? Oh man, there's tons. Anyhow, that's enough waffling on. I'm sure the video's dragged on for more than long enough. Guys, if you like what you see, as I say every week, please give it a like, share it with your mates, and if you're that way inclined, please subscribe to our channel. It'll help you get notifications as soon as we get these videos up and done. You will be seeing a slight delay between when we film a video and when we upload them, and that's going to give us a chance to actually do all the post editing and everything that happens after the fact. So yeah, there will be a delay, but that is why. And it also helps me reclaim my weekends because summer's coming and I want to go marlin fishing, and I've already started hearing this weekend out off our Nora Canyons, marlin already getting caught. Not only that, there's like 60 kilo yellowfin getting caught down off the south coast, off Jervis Bay, Narooma, all those areas in 40 meters of water. It's just sensational. It's phenomenal fishing, and I'm not getting amongst it. But come summertime, I'm telling you what, I'm going to be back out there. All right, guys, that's enough waffling on. Thank you again for tuning in. Until next week's video, stay safe. Thank you for tuning in. Catch you later. Stay safe. Bye.